Welcome back to Nerdy Jock Media presents Dragon Ball Daima podcast, where every week we are watching Dragon Ball Daima, coming here, and we're talking about it immediately. Kevin, what did you think about episode 7, Caller?
Guys, I just want to let this out right now, right here. This episode was trash. I am so pissed. I'm very frustrated. I came in, we talked pre-pod for just a few seconds. I feel like I'm a WWE fighter in the ring, talking trash about a trashy show.
This was it last week. We were both like, we're enjoying the adventure, but we have like a near infinite runway for how we're going to allow stuff to eventually happen in this show. But this week broke me.
Yeah.
This week, the repetitiveness of all the stuff that keeps happening if we wanted to summarize like what happened in this episode, like what actually happened.
We'll just give you a quick breakdown on why none of it makes sense again. Okay, so opens up with Bulma and Vegeta them working on the ship, and they realize they can't fix it. They need a mineral that is special. They can only get from the demon world. But lo and behold, Hibis shows up from the demon world with a ship to take him over to the demon realm. So number one, that takes out 7 episodes right there. Plot.
So every scene that we have seen before now of Bulma working on the ship and everyone waiting for her to fix the ship was completely pointless.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was completely pointless.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So skip ahead to the next scene. We have a cool little moment, though.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way. A cool little moment here, guys, where Goku's munching on these emergency rations, and they get him fat because one little bite is worth 2 meals.
They're like it's like elven bread, but like little like charcoal like balls of falafel
it was like
or something.
Manna, and it's good.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And then they what happens? They're flying their ship, and who do we see in the air again, Dan?
The Genmaries. Yeah. Again, they're pulling them over again. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
This one,
exact same situation, guys. This happens over and over and over.
This one, I feel like I was kind of just staring at the TV because Goku was like, well, how about I just take them out? And they're like, you can't do that. Otherwise we can't use Warp Sama. And so they land. He uses instant transmission to teleport to hide. But then eventually, because they want to take Pansy, they just take him out anyway.
Yeah, they have to take him out because Pansy has her collar on, hence the name of the episode, Collar. 0 point for this episode at all, by the way.
If this was a pitch meeting, like I just kept hearing in my head, it's like, oh, it's going to be really hard for them to get out of this. Actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. And it was. This was maybe the only part of the episode that had anything that I liked in it because the fight was beautifully directed and animated. Yeah. But even that wasn't enough to redeem this episode because it was just pointless.
It was pointless.
And we had already seen it before. We've already seen this like
the same exact situation in multiple episodes. I think this is, if it's not the third time, it's at least the second time. In the last few episodes, we've seen the same scene.
And don't get me started with Pansy's collar. Like Pansy's collar is made from a special material that grows on planet Kaishin, which is where all the glins, from the glin tree.
Kamamaranite or something like that.
Yeah. And then like, it's indestructible. There's no way we can take this collar off. But Kaioshin has a spell that can take the collar off, and the spell is something that everybody can learn.
Watch, I'll do it. Pan, come a pan!
Yeah.
And it's off. What did he freaking do?
He had never done it before. He just magically knew how to do it because Arinsu was the one who probably created the collars. And then Pansy's like, wow, this is amazing. You took my collar off. And he's like, actually, that spell was super easy. I can teach everybody in the world to do it.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for doing that 4 episodes later when you knew she was already having a problem with the collar.
What are the freaking stakes in this show?
0 right now. It's exasperating because we have, like Dan said, we've been giving it the longest runway because we love Dragon Ball. Obviously, we love Dragon Ball, but
we love Dragon Ball.
This is like the episode where the end of the cliff, you're riding a plane, you try to pull up before it crashes, but no, they say press down and they go and crash.
What it feels like is you're on a plane trying to go somewhere, and the pilot keeps kind of taking off and then landing and going, okay, let's take off again.
Yeah.
Let's take off again in the exact same way.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, we're taxiing to the runway. We're going to take off again.
No, we got to stop though, Dan, because we can't take off now because the air traffic controllers are here again to stop us.
If there are 20 episodes in Daima, we are now more than a third of the way through the
7
series.
episodes already.
And we haven't even gotten to a Tamagami fight. I mean, it happened at the very end of the episode where Goku challenged him. Based on the preview, it seems like that's what the next episode is going to be. Is it going to finally be an actual challenge? Dabura couldn't even defeat this thing. So, yeah, what is this going to be? But, I mean,
it's frustrating.
My God.
I mean, we learned that Supreme Kai's name is Nahare.
Nahare.
So that's, I mean, I guess that's cool.
That when Goku was like, oh, well, if that's your name, I'm just gonna start calling you that. I'm like, but Dragon Ball Super, he calls him Kaioshin. Luckily, they turned it around at the last second where he's like, okay, I'll just call him Kaioshin.
I guess it was just for a fun joke, but then he calls him Kaioshin anyway. It's like, okay, so what was the point of that? Nothing. I mean, as far as the Demon World, they might have given us one other tidbit that might have been useful, but I honestly don't even remember it. I remember I should have taken a note on it, but I didn't. Because I was just like, look, it's just a build-up. If you compare this with Dragon Ball, right? Because this is what we've been comparing it to the very beginning. At least in Dragon Ball, even the first 8-10 episodes, you run into interesting, weird-looking characters, different variations of characters. You've got that rabbit guy who turns people into carrots.
Right.
You have the Ox King and Chi-Chi. You have them looking for the Dragon Balls. You have them having to use a magical fan to try to put out a flame that they lost. That use a Kamehameha on.
Every episode had its own obstacle and moved the story along in some way.
Yeah, we are in a situation here where we're in the same setting. So the backgrounds, although they are beautiful, I'm getting tired of seeing pink all episode. Pink and turquoise people. That's it.
I complimented last episode. I said that the backgrounds of this show are the most beautiful backgrounds that Dragon Ball has ever had. I stand by that. However, if you look at the same thing over and over and over again, it does start to get old. Yeah, these pink backgrounds. I mean, nothing has advanced. Nothing.
So not even just from a narrative perspective, visually it's still, we're locked in the same moment.
Right.
I mean, I got excited just to spend 20 seconds on Kami's Lookout, just because I was like, oh, thank God we see some blue and some white or some, just a different kind of color or a different kind of background. Give me a different kind of setting or a situation that pulls apart from these last 7 episodes. But this is literally, one half of the show, one segment of the show was literally the same situation that happened a couple episodes ago.
If I had to make a beat sheet of everything that happens in these episodes, because we're 7 episodes deep, and let's be real, 5 of them are just straight up filler.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I'd say 4.5 for sure. I would say, because you could make, if I had to cut out all the filler, I would say maybe we have 2 and 3 episodes, 2.5 to 3 episodes.
I think we could accomplish everything plot wise that we've done so far, certainly in 3 episodes.
3 episodes. 2 would be a crunch, but it would be a great 2 episodes. But 3 is probably about where we're at.
And if I had to make a beat sheet of everything that's happened so far, I mean,
Dan is the writer.
That happens in every episode. It's literally like people try to do something. They discuss that there is a problem of how to do it, and then there's an immediate fix to that problem.
Exactly.
And then this episode, it was just in droves. It was like, oh, we can't fix the ship. It's okay, here's a ship to come pick us up. It's like, oh, here are these guards. We can't fight them. Never mind, we can fight them. Here's an indestructible collar. We can't take off. Never mind, we have a spell that everybody can learn, or you can take it off.
Oh, I revealed my new name? Oh, wait, we're not going to use that. We're just going to use your old name. I'm like, what do we, like, it doesn't, I mean, even that, it's a stupid plot point, but like what is the point?
Yeah.
Like, what is the point here? And it's like I just feel cheated at this point because we only have 13 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I mean, this episode, like when we got to the halfway point, I was like, okay, now this is starting to feel like Dragon Ball GT. Yeah. Like now all of the gripes about this show, I'm and also my preemptive gripes that I had when the show was announced initially, or I was like, oh, it's another show where they turn to kids. Now all of that stuff is coming back in an avalanche.
Yeah, it's happening.
Because listen, Kevin, if there's the one thing that I hate the most about Dragon Ball, which as we all know, it's a thing that we love. We love Dragon Ball.
We love it.
We love it.
Love it.
But the thing that I hate the most, and it's something, it's been a phenomenon just of the last 20 years. But if there's one thing that I hate the most, it's unnecessary retconning.
Yes.
Because it takes away from what made the original story special. I've talked about before, and I'll briefly touch on it, that the original Bardock story is so good because it was planting the seed of the idea that you are not who you are at birth, that your destiny is something that you can forge yourself. Bardock and his team were getting so much stronger than they should have because they were third-class warriors or whatever, and Frieza was taking notice, and he was like, oh, well, there's this legendary Super Saiyan thing I have to worry about. The Saiyans can increase their strength exponentially, even like this low-tier group of people, they're taking on these like insane assignments, these crazy planets or whatever. I now have to like kill the Saiyans and stuff like that. And then Goku, the ultimate cap to that, not cap as in lie, not you Gen Z. the ultimate bookend of that point was that a low-class warrior who was sent to Earth, where people all have low power levels comparatively to the rest of the universe, through sheer will and training alone, rose up and became the legendary Super Saiyan and defeated the Emperor of the Universe. How many times has that amazing story been retconned? Well, an episode of Bardock, Bardock wasn't killed by Frieza. He went back to the past and became a Super Saiyan. Turns out he was the legendary Super Saiyan that Frieza's ancestors created all of their fear and myths about. So now Goku isn't special. He's just Bardock's son.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now a Super Saiyan just kind of runs in the family. The most egregious of that, though, was in Battle of Gods when Beerus had the line about how he was the one who ordered Frieza to kill the Saiyans.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? That takes away everything interesting about why Frieza wanted to do it. This show is doing that so much. I'm getting off the stuff in the past because we knew from Super that Kaioshin was a god of creation. He creates planets, he creates life. He has a counterpoint in Beerus that if one of them dies, the other dies. And Beerus's job is to destroy things. Like it's kind of Shiva and Vishnu in that way.
Yin yang kind of vibe.
Yeah, yin yang, Shiva, Vishnu, all of that stuff. But now it's like he's just a demon. Because we have this weird conceit that if you have pointy ears, you're from the demon world. How come every single god of creation in every universe is a Glind?
Yes.
Everybody's a demon.
Yeah.
Why? It's like, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
It raises more questions, honestly, than it answers. I could have done without it.
Yeah.
I could have done without the idea that it's like, oh, if you have pointy ears, you're a demon or whatever. And it takes away, honestly, the specialness of Kaioshin and the so-called Glinds. You know, it just, everything about it, it just pisses me off, folks. That's my rant.
You know what? I support that rant 100%, DK, because it is frustrating, guys. You know, at home, you watched it, you're like, what the hell? You know, you guys have been with us. You've been supportive. You know, we've been giving it, like we said, the longest runway in the world, and it's just not taking off. It's just kind of sitting there. And I'm like, and even like, I love anime for the sole purpose, not sole purpose, but one of the reasons why I love anime is because of the continuous narrative storytelling.
Yes.
Where it's not episode, it's like a villain of the week. But you know what? I'm at the point in Dragon Ball Daima where I think I'd rather have just like a crazy cool fight, enemy of the episode vibe right now. Like that's where the point I'm at. I'd rather
100%.
I'd rather just see them go up against a different enemy, get stronger, fight something, get a magical object like a JRPG to help them on their course for the next. Like that's like you never want that to happen. If you're a writer or a watcher of this cinema or shows, you don't want that to be like how you progress the plot of the story. But I'm at the point where I'm just tired of watching them float around this stupid ass ship, getting caught, having to deal with immigration every episode, and then it's like deport him. Yeah, he shouldn't be there. No, but it's frustrating because it's like, dude, I mean, how many times are we gonna redo this? It's like we're only 14 minutes in this pod, and we can't even talk about the plot because there's really nothing more that happens.
There's really nothing more, and it's interesting that you would crave Monster of the Week over Serial, which is what you prefer.
Always.
But when Serial is just doing this every episode, how many episodes have they dealt with immigration?
Yep.
And then like dealt with a problem with their plane or like, dealt with, the ship on Earth isn't working.
Yep.
It's just like over and over and over. It's You can't even call it cereal at this point because it's like nothing is moving.
Nothing's moving, and it's just so annoying because there's so much potential, man. I get like, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna get a ball and just throw it at the wall and see what sticks of just sticky tape or whatever. I guarantee you, there's probably a dozen or 2 dozen episode ideas already that would have made more sense.
Just something else.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Just write something else. If this was a JRPG, I would have stopped playing already.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, how many times are we gonna get pulled over by immigration?
Yeah.
How many times am I gonna have to like run to the bathroom or eat something? It's like there's been no boss fights.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like there's been no challenge. You know, yeah, I would have stopped playing this game 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, I mean, even a great JRPG that has JRPGs, you can jump right in, pick it up, and start playing in an hour. You're like, okay, I know the mechanics of this game. And there are JRPGs that might take like 3 or 4 hours to say, oh, now I get it. You know, this one, we're 7 episodes in, multiple hours in, and I was like, man, we are just on this treadmill going around and around and around. I think we're gonna get off it this next week, thank God. But
we're gonna have a beautifully animated fight scene with the Tamagami, with the Tamagotchi.
But it's like okay, so even from a plot perspective, you know, looking forward, is that we know that 1 or 2 things are gonna happen, right? Goku's gonna fight this Tamagami. He's either gonna win, which that makes no sense because Vegeta, Piccolo, Bulma, and Hibis are still headed there right now. And by the way, you were right, Dan. Kibito got sidelined again.
Why didn't they take Kibito? Yeah. Why didn't they take the one demon with memories of the demon world to the demon world?
Yeah.
It makes no, I mean, I guess Hibis is like from the demon world, but like, yeah. Why didn't they bring Kibito?
You know, Dan made a joke 3 episodes ago that they got him just making Uber Eats runs and like DoorDash, bringing stuff. Yeah, right. Not a sponsor. Bringing food to them on Kami's Lookout, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, watch. And Dan was like, yeah, he's probably just gonna be sidelined again for the next. It's exactly what happened again.
Right.
And I'm like, it's like whatever, man. You had an opportunity there, but you know what? I've seen so many demons. You know what? I'm cool without Kibito on this one. I'm glad they took Bulma because she's a crucial part. And well, actually, let's talk about that in just a second here. To get back off the tangent, the side tangent just went on was we should be flying by now, and we're just coasting. And it's like I hate saying it over and over, but that's what's happening. We're just repeating the same thing over and over.
Well, let's look at like a JRPG that everybody knows, Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
It's like the first thing you do is you're a mercenary that was hired by this group Avalanche to help blow up a Mako reactor, right? Then you go back to the slums, you meet your childhood friend, you do a little bit of world building with that, and then the next thing you do is you go to blow up another Mako reactor, but this time there's like people waiting for you, and then you fall down this like big thing, and you meet Aerith and all this stuff. There's always buts in there for us, buts in there for us.
You have some flashbacks, some memories that you don't quite know.
Exactly.
So at least that's interesting narratively. Like, hey, what the hell?
At every point, you're kind of like getting a little bit more. And I feel like this show uses exposition to try to do that. Uses exposition where people are... Why does Kaioshin know so much about his origin when it seemed like he was surprised in the beginning that he was a demon? But now him and Piccolo are like experts on the demon world. They have like all these memories about it. He randomly knows a spell that can eliminate every color. Yeah. Like it's I don't care. Yeah. I just don't care. It's
okay. So let me weave back. So that was a good tangent too, but now I remember
don't do the weave.
The weave. Doing the weave. No, I remember my point I was trying to make earlier was that going forward, we know that next episode Goku's going to start fighting the Tamagami number 1, right? Or number 3 actually.
Number 3, yeah.
Because there are 3. So I'm assuming, guys, that every demon world of the 3 has one of the Tamagami to fight. So and I assume that the 3rd world is going to be the weaker one, 2nd world's going to be the stronger, and the 1st world, Tamagami is probably going to be the strongest, is what I would assume. But my thing is this, is like, is Goku just going to power up Super Saiyan and defeat the Tamagami easily? Which makes no narrative sense, because if he does, what's the point of Piccolo, Vegeta, and them coming to help them in the demon world? Nothing. So I assume that we're going to have actually Goku lose a fight in the beginning, and then hopefully he gets help from Piccolo and Vegeta. Or if that doesn't happen, and Goku does beat the Tamagami in this next episode, then what the hell are we doing here?
Whatever happens, I am now convinced after this last episode that Daima is gonna have another season next year. And everybody who's waiting for Super to get animated, they're gonna have to wait for season 2 of Daima, and then also the show that I pitched last week, Dragon Ball Neko.
Yeah,
where they're gonna have to go to Beerus's world and do all that stuff. The Egyptian cat world. Yeah, I mean, it's just I just feel like we're just gonna have too much Daima.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been negative Nancy's. I get it, but we're going to turn this positive for a second here. I have to assume with these last couple episodes, Dan, that the next one, they are going to blow the nut on this one. This is what they spent all the money on. This is the big kahuna. We've been holding back 3 or 4 episodes of really nothing. Maybe like a 2-minute animated sequence that was badass here, going Super Saiyan there. Whatever. I hope that this next episode, it's got to perform. If it doesn't, then there's going to be a lot of unhappy Dragon Ball fans out there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that Toei cares, honestly. I think that they're like, well, we did all this 2 years ago.
Yeah. And they have the number, but they already have, and people are watching. So they have the numbers, but
Dragon Ball is always going to be watched. Yeah. I mean, like, look, the way that Dragon Ball wrapped up in the 90s was with GT, which everybody hated. But still, Dragon Ball has maintained its popularity. Like, even
it's grown. It's still grown.
In the wake of GT. Yeah, it's only grown since then. So, I mean, I don't think that they're gonna, Lucasfilm this where they're just gonna kill the magic of Dragon Ball with this because at least there's still some canon left to explore with all the unanimated episodes of Super. There's still fertile ground. So I feel like for a lot of people who have a lot of gripes about this show, they're like, I'm sitting this one out, but when Super comes back, I will watch Super. Yeah. So I don't think Dragon Ball will die with Daima. I don't think it's Dragon Ball Daima. But yeah, I was loving this show, and now it's at the point where the narrative debt outweighs any enjoyment that I have. I'm just like, okay, can we just get to something of substance, please?
I can't, we've been given a couple passes. We've been very light on it. We just can't do that anymore. I mean, but you know what? I'm excited for next week. We're going to do another pod where we're going to let it all out, and hopefully it's going to be amazing because the animation we did see, it looks fantastic.
Right.
It has to be the one where we've been saving up for this episode for 3 episodes worth of budget. We're just going to blow it on here. It's just like episode 1. Remember episode 1 with the Majin Buu and the flashback of the whole fight was reanimated? That's the level we need to see in episode 8 to justify these last 3 episodes of just being mediocre.
Right. I mean, my worry, like even if it's beautiful, it will be episode 8 of a 20 episode order.
Yeah.
And it will just be one boss fight out of 20 episodes and 8. It took 8 episodes of filler to get to one boss fight. Whether they go immediately to Tamagami number 2 or whether it takes another 8 episodes, it's either too quick or it's too long.
Yeah.
It's like the pacing is now screwed up.
At this point, if it keeps on the same trajectory that it's been on for the last 7 episodes, if they made a Dragon Ball Daima Kai, it would probably be 5 episodes long, is what I'm assuming.
I would say 4.
Yeah, I would say 4. Like Dragon Ball Daima Kai would be like 4 episodes and maybe a epilogue.
Toei, if you're listening, make a Dragon Ball Daima Kai.
Yeah, make a Dragon Ball Daima Kai for us. Just release in the theaters.
They're like, oh, but this is what Toriyama wanted. He wanted this repetitive adventure over and over again. He was really concerned about immigration to Japan, and so he wanted this immigration thing to continue to happen.
Like, that's what frustrates me the most here, guys, about this episode. Thanks for I love, Toriyama's like, he's sensei, we love Toriyama, and it's like, I love Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball. There was interesting, unique, fun, situational, comedic episodes. Every single episode, something new was happening. Like it was different. There were so many different cool episodes every episode. There were castles with booby traps to deal with. There were shape-shifting ogre creatures. There were princesses being kidnapped. There were villages that needed to be saved. Well, I guess they've saved the villages episode. And then they have magical magical beings they're discovering, finding the Dragon Balls. I mean, like, there's only 3. I mean, I guess that's an issue too. There's only 3 Dragon Balls in this world, so they got to make it last longer before they get all 3 Dragon Balls.
Well, let's look at this. And because I always think about other writers and where they are in their career. Because, there was a period of time, I'll use James Cameron as an example. There was a period of time when he sequentially wrote Terminator, The Abyss, and Aliens in quick order, and then wrote Terminator 2, and then wrote True Lies. And all those movies are fantastic. Yeah, because he was in the process of writing constantly.
He was on a heater. That's a run.
It was a 10-year period where he just turned out hit after hit after hit. Because initially when he started, he was like a starving artist. He was literally just eating 1 Big Mac a day. That's all he could afford. And he would just, so he was like really like grinding and putting in the effort. Then he did Titanic, which is like, okay, so it's like another thing. And then he spent years and years and years exploring the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
And so when he came back, he wasn't the same writer that he was before. Right. And now with like the Avatar sequels, he has people who help him write those because he's not as engaged. So you can't, so it's different. The quality of writing changed. With Toriyama wrote Dr. Slump for a very long period of time, and then immediately went into Dragon Ball, and was just writing and writing and writing for years and years and years, just grinding out these amazing stories, and then it ended, and then he didn't write any stories for a long time, and then he came back to writing, and what we see, like, this might be sacrilegious to say because obviously, like, Toriyama is amazing. The story that he told, I mean, the fact that it's had such an enduring legacy is incredible. But I feel like before his death, the fandom was all in agreement that every time he writes something new, it kind of feels like a little bit, like, really? Like Episode of Bardock. And then Bardock's second retcon with Super Broly, where now he's just Jor-El, and then Bardock's third retcon in the Super manga, where apparently like he made a wish to Purunga that his sons grow up healthy and strong, which everyone was pissed off about because it's like, oh wait, is that why Goku survived after he was killed by Piccolo and his heart stopped beating, and all that stuff. I mean, just all this stuff. So I mean, like the man is a creative genius. And I mean, Daima feels like a thing that was written by someone who just hasn't written a lot in a long time. Right.
Well, and also, we got to give him a little slack here because, Dragon Ball, the manga was manga. It was week to week. It was shown in, Daima is just it goes straight to animated series. So it's it's a totally different and unique creative endeavor.
And how much did he write? Did he write the outlines like he did for Super, or did he actually go, okay, this episode this happens, this episode this happens? We don't know. So we don't know.
We don't know that. But
we don't know. Yeah.
You'll let us know. I'm sure someone on the YouTube channel knows. But we know he was heavily involved in the creative process. So
this was his baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, I want to do this story. Yeah. So yeah. But I don't know how much. But.
Okay, but you know what?
I just wish it was better because it's his posthumous release.
Exactly.
And it's on the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, this was supposed to be like a love letter to the legacy that is Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I mean...
And in ways, it felt like that. Like we, again, first 6 episodes, we were both like, we're loving this. It's like Dragon Ball. And then this episode...
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, does this happen again? Oh, this happened again?
Yeah.
We're treading water? What are we doing here? Exactly.
Right.
I mean, I would have been more comfortable if it was very much like we'll have characters that are like the pansy or like just stuff that's going to give you guys memories from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, back in the day. Just like if they just went like week to week and had just like cool moments that like were hell. I would almost like to see them just watch a reanimated Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball stuff again. Like, just give us his memories again.
I would love if Nakatsuru just remade Dragon Ball at this point and made it look like the manga, like he did for that intro in Superhero.
That was sick.
If there was a whole series that looked like that,
awesome.
that would just be like my dream.
Yeah,
it'd be my dream. I would even maybe prefer it over the original release.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I'm a big. We're gonna do. I keep saying it. We're gonna actually. We have to do original Dragon Ball. I love that show.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I love it. It was my inception point.
Yeah.
Was Curse of the Blood Rubies. That was the first thing. So
But before we leave, we just want to leave on a good, breath out, good energy. Breathe in.
yeah, this is a little bit shorter. Yeah.
Breathe out.
I did not.
We just got to clear the air. We were frustrated, and I'm just glad we got to let it out and let it, to you guys, let you guys hear our frustrations. So
Are we missing something?
Yeah,
like
on this episode for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. If you have a different opinion, if this was,
let us know, man.
Yeah, let us know, because we, unlike other YouTubers, Kevin and I actually talk to you in the comments.
we do. No, we do. We
Yeah,
try.
I love discussing Dragon Ball. So when I see a comment that kind of piques something where it's like, oh, I want to talk with that person about that. So have a conversation with us, because I mean. But if you're feeling the frustration too,
let us know.
Let us know also. We will commiserate.
We had heard a little bit of this frustration that boiling up. This is like the searing point. This is where the kettle's boiling now.
Right.
We have heard some comments, and we've been giving it more runway. It's like, no, let the kettle boil a little bit longer. Let it boil a little bit longer. Now it's just overflowing.
Right.
And we have to do something about this. So
if there was any doubt that Kevin and I were shilling for Daima, let this episode stand as a testament that is absolutely not the case.
We like to be honest and transparent and open, and this was not our favorite.
This was Daima GT for sure. But anyways, next week, hopefully things get better. So join us next week.
It must get better next week on Dragon Ball Daima. Okay, before we leave though, remember to like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe.
Follow the platform for us. Tell us your opinions on this episode, like Dan just said.
Right.
And tune into our other show. We're not releasing it every week, but we're going week to week, or whenever we get a chance to shoot an episode of the What We're Watching pod. We've been catching up on Dan to Dan, which is freaking amazing.
Man.
That is like
Dan to Dan is great. Yeah.
It's better than JJK. In my opinion, it is awesome.
I would agree with that.
Dan to Dan is like the GOAT right now. That show is gangbusters awesome.
Week to week, just I'm always surprised where it goes, and I'm always just like, whoa, it's good.
I was crying, guys. I was tearing.
Episode 7,
I was tearing.
We'll talk about that on the other pod. Which
pod.
We apologize. Somebody commented to me, it's like you guys are not current with that pod, but we're only two guys.
Yeah.
Kevin edits these things, and Kevin's a busy man. It's like we gotta.
I audition a lot. I have a night job. I work like 6 days a week. So
he's got a lovely girlfriend. He's a great boyfriend. He takes her out. He does all the things. It's like I'm a dad. It's like we're busy, guys.
Yeah. But we're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. But if you're not watching Dan to Dan, we're just gonna plug it at the very end.
Yeah.
If you're bored with Daima, if you're pissed off at Daima, just go watch Dan to Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
And Blue Lock.
All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Sayonara and peace out.
Peace.
Yeah. Next week's gonna be better.